Can I give him the blessing?
Funny story.
Yes, sir.
Father, I just want to come to you today and just thank you for the life that you've given us all, Father, and thank you for our families and all the blessings. Thank you for this position you put us in, Father, to speak for the Cherokee people and come up here and do everything for them. And just help us keep our minds right, and we'll be sure to thank you for all things good. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Second, you roll call, please.
David
Honey.
Wilkinson, Brian Warner,
Honey.
Bill English,
Honey.
Ken Austin,
Here.
Harley Buzzard, Joe Bird,
Honey.
Tom Crittenden, Mike Dobbins, Frankie Hargis,
Present.
Wanda Hatfield, Rex George,
Here.
Dick Lance, Mike Shamrock,
That's a
Mary
biscuit
Bakershaw,
scratcher.
Theo Smith,
Got your biscuits.
Denise Taylor, Victoria Vesquez. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Shelley. I hear the approval of a motion to approve the minutes of April 16th. So moved. Second. Any discussion? Saying none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Down to reports. Miss Diane Kelly for vocational programs and Job Corps and Career Services.
MC for the Strawberry Festival.
Yeah, and we have somebody that never enters that parade, but always shows up in that parade. I wonder who it is, and you never know where he's going to be or who he's walking through the parade with. You just have to figure it out. But we found you.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
We found you. Brenda wanted me to report that her staff are on the new grant. We have a Josh Drywater who's working out of our Tulsa office, and Cheryl Adams who's working out of our Pryor office, and she's fully staffed now, and she'll probably have some of them here at the next committee meeting. And Daryl Legg's grant, he's fully staffed as well, and I think he and his staff are going to be at the Executive Finance Committee. Alternative education, Landra and Stephanie wanted me to tell you that they're over halfway there on their numbers as far as graduates for the GED graduation. They had a target of 100 last year. The graduation was in September. We held it at Northeastern State in the Herb Roselle Ballroom. And they anticipate making 100 plus. They're working on it right now because they've got a lot in the works. So we anticipate having a really good graduation, and it'll be announced in September. We don't have the date, official date yet, but it'll be in September. Would encourage y'all to come and see all those graduates. We are working on 2 grants. One of them is a big grant. I can't tell you a lot about it right now because we have to meet with the Creek Nation tomorrow. We're still working out our jurisdictional boundary, and hopefully next month I'll be able to tell you more about it. And we'll have to meet with the region and the state as far as the demographics and the amount of people that we'll be working with and the amount of money that we could receive as a result of it. Another one is opioid training. It's for people that are on opioids that are in rehabilitation, and it's a grant that we're going after the end of this month, so we can assist them with jobs and with training. That's pretty much my report. You have your report, and that's the additional things. Do you have any questions?
Question for Ms. Diane Kelly. Saying none, good report. How was the class reunion there in Stillwell?
It was good. It was really good. Jim Smay and Judy Starr, they were former graduates. They're also tribal members. They were the outstanding alumnus, and Deputy Chief and Jerry White were there to present their awards. And Sean and the White brothers were the entertainment. And
Okay.
Let me see. We just had a lot. We had a lot of people
Sounds like
that
a
showed
good
up.
night.
Yeah, the last 2 years have been really good.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
encourage.
so did you make it to the Bell Powwow, the whole Strawberry Festival, all those events?
I get in town about 7 o'clock that morning, and I'm there for a while, and then I go back, and I decorate, then I go back home, then I go back up there. I got home around 10 o'clock Saturday night, so no, I don't go to the Bell Powwow.
Hey, it was a good attendance. You guys had a good event down there in Stillwell, and It's almost reminds me of the Cherokee National Holiday down there. It's just a smaller version of it.
Well, we, all of the Strawberry Festival is put on by all volunteers. All of us have jobs, and it's all volunteer.
Wow, great event. All right, thanks, Dane.
Thank you.
Next, the Executive Director's Report, Mr. Ron Etheridge.
Good afternoon. Dr. Morton, I'll tell you what, behind me here, and he didn't know I was going to say anything, and I didn't know he was going to be here. But I'm going to tell you, you're looking at one proud person that Dr. Morton is still my mentor, and still in our office, because I get advice from him whenever I can, and solid as they come. And so I really appreciate his presence, and I'm really glad that he's here. Doc Morton, I hope it didn't embarrass you. Okay, I'd like to recognize another person that is doing very well, and Roy Boney, if you would stand up, please. I'm just going to let them know that he is receiving his second Achievers Under 40 award. The top 39 people in the state of Oklahoma to be recognized this Friday in Oklahoma City. I also asked Roy to come along because I had about 3 or 4 questions that I couldn't answer last time we met with language. And so anyway, he's back there. If you have questions regarding language, I guarantee I've got my offensive coordinator here today, so he's ready to go. Education liaison, I got 5 or 6 things I want to throw out there at you and let you know kind of what's going on. And of course, Leroy's going to report on school stuff and graduation, commencement exercise, and so forth. But there's been some areas we've been out and about to your schools. We've this past month. We have visited 10 schools, 10 counties, all the schools. We brought them to the respective sites of the host that were willing to host, and it's basically your Title VI programs, Indian education. We've asked them about their Indian Ed meetings and exactly what takes place, and kind of hinted around as to how the expenditures are being made toward, with the Indian Ed money and so forth. And this is just something that's required by the federal government now and by the state of Oklahoma. And so we've had good opportunities to come into your districts and to visit with your school districts. We have no issues with any of them. We feel they all are in compliance right now, and they all want to do with us. They use a couple of terms. They wanted basically us to give them advice regarding this, and they also wanted us to collaborate and be a partner with them. And so that's what's happened. And so it's been a good thing. One thing that's brought up when we're out there is you have some schools that are wanting to adopt in their curriculum the Cherokee language. I didn't realize this, but Telequa is already teaching. They have Cherokee 1, Cherokee 2 in their curriculum. You had 2 schools in Mays County, Pryor and Salina, because they have a good certified teacher wanting to go together and teach Cherokee in their curriculum. Vanita has spoken about teaching Cherokee in the school system, and we're talking on secondary level. So this is some good things, and Roy has got out there and worked, and we have a book now that can be used for the subject matter, and it's I think we're really progressing in that area. And so culture, we spent a lot of time with them talking about culture, because not only did Roy go with me to these meetings, Mark Vance went with me from Johnson O'Malley, and we spoke in length, in these respective subject areas. We have 1 meeting left, and that's this Wednesday, and so we will have done that. Now, we've had 3 schools that have opted to come in here and just do a one-on-one, and so we've had that as well. So under education liaison, that's one of the things that we've done. Under the JOM umbrella, we've had 10 schools that went to the National Robotics Meet. We had one school of the 10, Roland, placed in the top 16. So, to me, I mean, that's great. It's getting bigger and bigger every year. And so it's something you can be proud of. Also under the JOM umbrella, your 3 camps, and the deadline for the 3 that's happening May 29 through June 1 has passed, okay? And here's what we have. And the reason you have to have a deadline is the ordering of food and shirts and things like that. So we're down in 2 places because of, the only reason we know is the fact that the uncertainty is in the school year being extended because of the teacher walkout. And so anyway, we have 49 that will be at Dwight Mission. Roger State will have 79. No Water is up. They will have 40. So that on the camp coming up. The camp at Kansas coming up in June 12th through the 15th. It's open until Friday. So those of you in that area kind of put the word out that we have. And then Heart of the Hills Day Camp, July 23rd through 26th, and then the overnight camp also that week. We have plenty of time. But anyway, just kind of letting you know what's coming up there. Also under Education Liaison, we have the, remember the removal riders are so close. In 2 weeks from tomorrow, we send them off. And it seems like time has just flown by as far as their rehearsal. We started out with 12 because we had a couple of alternates. We ended up having an alternate have to come on and take a spot. One come on later and had to decline a spot. We have 10 riders, counting the mentor rider. We also have our vice president from C&B that's going to go out on the first 7 days of the ride. So anyway, we're getting ready to, like I said, here within 2 weeks, we'll have a send-off out in front of the complex.
What's the date on that, Ron?
The date on is May 29th,
Okay.
9 a.m. That morning. And I would like to compliment some people. We'll do some more complimenting when they come back or when they're sent off. But Sarah Holcomb is she's gone more than anyone, and she works up immersion, and she will be leading them again. She's going to ride part of it. She's not going to ride it all. So she will ride, and when she gets tired, she's going to get in the vehicle. She's been training them, and so she can train from either place. And so anyway, Marie Eubanks. Marie has volunteered to get out and follow. Where it starts is when they get to actually it starts before they get to bicycles. But once they get to bicycles and everything, I mean, it's every weekend. And so you have to have people to follow in case we have a situation. We've had an accident. We've had a situation where we've had to get paramedics involved. And so anyway, she's been a big part of that. Whenever someone can't go, she goes. And so you guys know Marie, tell her thank you. I mean, I personally will tell her thank you. Communications, Marshal Service, paramedics, education, and facilities is all teamed together to make this a positive thing. And so anyway, it's a 23-day deal, 950 miles. And so it's getting ready to happen.
Hey, Ron, where's the send-off going to be taking place?
Send-off will be out here in front of
the complex.
The complex,
okay.
Right. TOSS, STEM, and reading workshop, June the 6th and 7th, and it will be at Northeastern, those 2 days. And it's, we have all kinds of instructors from, in fact, last year there was right at 150. The fact that we had to walk out just a little bit has reduced the numbers just a tiny bit because of getting out of school late. And so, but we still have, plenty that's wanting to come. And we give out 10 $1,000 scholarships at that time related in those 2 areas. So it's a great workshop. We have lots of good speakers and lots of good help there in that area. So if you're around, come by and be a part of that. Brian Jackson just got back from a national archery meet, also in Kentucky. And I did not realize this. Of course, he helped run it off. It's like we've talked about, it's getting bigger and bigger. He spoke to the group afterwards where the awards were presented. And we had a team out of Mace County, Locust Grove, that finished 4th in the nation in archery. We don't even have it as a sport here in Oklahoma, so it's picked up outside the OSSAA and outside the rural schools. I mean, they actually do it, but the high schools, it's kind of on their own. And so, but the other schools that were present in that national meet were Brushy, Claremore, Telequa, and Marietta. So anyway, that's, and like I said, these guys, Leroy, I have Verna's report, and you have it as well. So if you have questions on either the education report or Verna's report, I'm ready to answer, or we'll try to answer.
Speaker Bird.
Ron, this is pertaining to graduation.
Okay?
I've asked our legal to do some research on, I'm not for sure we can implement this year, but we want to get with you and make sure what we have in policy here at the Cherokee Nation coincides with what maybe some of the other schools are trying to do. I don't know how far they go with letting certain regalia be allowed in these graduations, and I'm preferring to like eagle feathers, beaded caps, and so forth. So Talina has done some research, and she's got, we looked at several schools, and then we don't have anything in place, but we need to put something in place and then work with these schools. We give them tag money, so we can say, well, at least allow some of our students, not all of them, and they don't have to flaunt it, put it on Facebook, just do it in a very agreeable way. So that's something we need to discuss, okay?
Okay.
Thought I'd just give you a heads up, and she's got some research that will maybe help us in the future. Most of you may not even deal with it. I get, a handful of calls every year, and it varies from school to school, and universities are a little bit more lenient than the high schools, of course. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Just talking about what Speaker Bird just brought up, when I was over at Muskogee, they had a policy in place that the school board implemented where you couldn't wear any type of outside regalia to the graduation. So we had our separate graduation for our Native American kids where they could wear their regalia and so forth up there, because I know we can't dictate what schools do, because they have governing bodies, they're school boards that make their own policies, and but it would be a good gesture if the tribe could form a partnership or write a letter of support to the schools or school boards to say that please allow our citizens to wear their regalia, but of course we can't force them to do that.
Right.
But it would be good to just get a letter from the tribe to send out to all 77 schools and say, the Tribal Council and Cherokee Nation support our kids to wear their regalia. So something along that would be good, Ron, if you guys. We got a question over here, Councilwoman Shaw.
Oh, thank you, Ron. By the way, thank you for taking my phone calls this past month.
You're fine. You're fine.
I was hoping you could share with the council what our policy is regarding the Cherokee scarf that's worn at graduation.
Okay, but our policy is if they're funded by our scholarship, okay, they call and inquire about one, we're gonna send them one. And that's what our policy is. So, anyone that's funded by the scholarship. Yes.
I had an inquiry as to if they could buy one for $10 a piece if they weren't funded by scholarship. What would we need to do to implement that, or is that even a consideration?
I don't know. I mean, if there's legislation to do that here by this body, and then it taken to admin
question?
Well, right now, it's an honor to get that. It's through a program.
Well, there's,
That's what's in place so far.
Right.
you know, what Councilwoman Shaw, I could see that being beneficial to at-large citizens that may be outside of the scholarship area. And it is an honor to be a Cherokee and to graduate from college. Fortunately, not everybody lives inside the 14, not the 14 county, but the scholarship jurisdiction. So that may be an option that we say that they could purchase a stove from the Cherokee Nation if they're a Cherokee tribal citizen and they're graduating. That way, we're just not giving them out just because they look cool, but we're giving them out as a merit to Cherokee person outside of the area, and it may give you guys an opportunity to raise money in your budget or to maybe one of your services you offer to your constituents at large. But I don't know what the cost of those are, Ron. 30, 40 bucks, 50 bucks?
No,
I think the
I
cost is-
gotta check myself. I mean, I was thinking, along around $12, but I was told about 20. Dr. Morton, do you know? Okay. And Jennifer May, if she's watching, she may text me and tell me.
And they don't have to be that particular stove that we have right now. That is through the scholarship program that we have. We give that out.
Correct.
So if we're going to give it to every Cherokee, we might want to develop a different one.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
I have one more,
Councilman Shaw.
question.
Yes.
Which I love that idea of developing another one that's available for purchase for any Cherokee citizen who's graduating for their regalia. I love that idea. I wanted to ask a question. You were talking about the STEM programs. What about STEAM? Where we add the arts into the STEM. Is that possible that we can implement a STEAM program instead of STEM where we implement the arts? I mean, Sequoia is obviously doing these successful performances with their drama department. They have a band, they have a music program and all. Why do we not develop beyond STEM and call it STEAM and throw the arts in the middle of it? So many of our high schools throughout Oklahoma are doing that presently because the arts are going by the wayside. Is that a consideration or is that possible?
Yeah, our Cherokee camp, the arts are, we try our best to incorporate them as well, with the STEM in our camps and things. And, I mean, now I don't know, are you referencing the TOS program that we have with the teachers when they come in and incorporating the arts into that, or
No,
just?
I'm just incorporating that into general language issues. Instead of STEAM, let's use STEM. Instead of STEM, let's use STEAM, where we utilize the arts in there as well, because the arts are going by the wayside in our educational programs. I think that's happening more throughout public schools here in Oklahoma in trying to fight to keep the art funding alive for their programs.
No, I agree with you on the importance of it. In fact, we invited Barbara McAllister to our Cherokee County meeting the other day because she's losing 4 scholarship students, two to here at Northeastern, one to Oklahoma City University, and one to Edmond. And so she offers that service right here, at the chapel, along with over at Muskogee and so forth. And of course, we take care of it. Now, we try to let them know that, they technically need to kind of have a voice to begin with. I mean, so we can, we're trying. I agree with what you're saying. I think the arts need to be out there. I mean, I'm for that. I've had Sam come to me with a band, and some of you've been around here long enough to know, I can't relate to it, that I promise you, Sequoia Band is up there. And there's been a time when maybe it wasn't up there. And so, you have to have instruments and things like that, and Sam's, he's made me aware that, hey, instruments, kind of like football helmets, they need, worked on, and instruments need worked on and so forth. So we understand that, We're going to try to put an emphasis there when we can.
Yeah, Councilman Shambaugh.
When we're talking about graduation, are we talking 2-year school? Are we talking junior college? Are we talking 4-year? 4-year only. 4-year only.
There you go, you got a good one there for me too. There you go, $9.50 a stove. $9.50 a stove. Okay, got one of them watching. What's going on? So, and I'll have to find out, maybe she'll answer that here in just a second. So, I apologize that I haven't do it that way, but.
Going back to the at-large citizens that's graduating, I don't know if there'd be extra cost on designing a different stove for the at-large citizens or not.
David,
Yes.
That's not the way I would want that worded. I think for any Cherokee graduating senior, regardless of their zip code, that should be available, including in jurisdiction.
Okay. Well noted, Councilwoman. All right, Councilwoman.
I think I forgot my question.
Oh, did you?
Are there any high schools or in Oklahoma that allow that, like Feather? I know was it Sepulpa last year?
I think David hit on it just a little bit ago. I mean, it's local board control.
Yeah.
I mean, now we can put a letter out there and ask them to, be sympathetic to it and everything. But it's going to be totally based on what the local district wants to do.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what was the Sepulpa, what was the real, does anybody remember? Was it last year?
Sepulpa,
They have
they're the
one.
chieftains.
They have one every year where there's a student that doesn't get to wear an eagle feather. It
But
happens every year.
Didn't she?
And
Okay.
so,
I know that we're doing that, like the more public schools, we're fighting this, well, the parent, the committee, or, they're fighting with the school board, and it's just the process is, it's unbelievable, it's just,
Yeah.
it's like there's just such opposition.
You
And
know-
we have a large population there.
Wanda, tell me a second time. Deer Creek, Edmund Deer Creek, they call us regarding Title VI. And I said, what are you doing calling me? I said, I'm over here in the eastern side of the state. Nice lady. And she said, we have more Cherokee students than we have any other native students. Gotcha. Okay, we'll talk to you, And so basically we've gone through, this Title VI or ESSA, Every Student Succeeds Act, within. And we've done it kind of long distance. So, we want to accommodate. So we're going to do everything in our power to accommodate.
Well, the Cherokees are the second largest population, and I know the more schools, and Oklahoma City, I work with all the schools, are in contact with their directors, and we have a large Cherokee population.
Very proud of our heritage.
Yes.
They're very proud.
hey, Ron,
Prouder today than any other time.
have you been keeping track of our Cherokee students over at Bacone College and what's kind of how many kids are affected by that whole situation over there?
I have those numbers. Jennifer got them, and I'll be honest with you, they're not very many. Most in any class is 20.
Okay. It's a sad day to see the state that university or that college is in. But we had another college in Shawnee that shut down, the St. Gregory's. They shut down last spring. Just tough time in higher education, and
Bacone decided to keep their doors open. Did you hear that?
didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Did they?
Well, they didn't go into detail. But back to the regalia, Ron, very seldom do we have issues with Cherokee students.
Do what?
Very seldom do we have an issue with Cherokee students on wearing the regalia
Right.
during graduation.
Right.
It's when students get up and start flaunting, putting on Facebook that they're going to wear something without going through the policy.
Exactly.
That's where you get into that.
Yeah.
We haven't had any problems with our Cherokee students.
Right.
Does someone know the status of Bacone College and their status right now?
I just told you, that was on the morning news, that they weren't going to close. You've got a new president coming in, and they've had some conversations. They have their doors open today.
Okay.
They didn't go into detail.
Right.
Thank you for that, Speaker. Yes, Councilman Lay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ron, on the ValSal checks, do you guys have any idea of how many had to be split out this year?
How many?
Had to be split out because of
Most.
the funding?
Most, yeah.
Most.
I mean, that would be the best, I mean, way I could answer that. Very few had a situation where we had one valedictorian, one salutatorian, yes.
And those only go to Cherokee students?
Right, that's correct.
Cherokee citizens students.
That's correct.
So we don't fund the entire class,
No,
non-Indian, we fund Cherokee citizens.
right, right. But we take that $1,750 and divide it based on if there's two valedictorians and one salutatorian. We provide for them a formula to look at, and then they tell us how they want to do it.
So the school, you let the school do that?
Right.
Is this the first time we've done that?
Yes, because it's, I mean, we're still giving them the $1,750 that you know, that the two sums added together, you know, come to. And so, and they've always made sure that, you know, I mean, the valedictorian gets a little bit more than the salutatorian. And we had one situation where a parent was upset with that, and I was told I'd get the phone call, and I didn't. But anyway, and that was it.
And we normally, it was 1,000 for the Val and 750
Right.
for the Sal, I think.
Exactly, yeah.
And that was throughout the jurisdiction. Was it Sequoia High School too, I think?
Yes,
Correct.
yeah, and they just have one of each, yeah.
That's the way it was when I was at school. Anyways, and so counselors either present those checks, or if they're tied up, like today, I'm tied up in this committee meeting, so those were mailed. And
I had a Blue Jacket. We just got through doing Vanitas just last week, and we did that I mean, had that meeting, that's a meeting at 10 o'clock that morning, and you know, she asked me, me and Roy, if one of us could go to over Blue Jacket, and I would have loved to have been able to do it. Had she told me something earlier, you know, we'd have planned on it. But I mean, the meeting's 1:30. You know, we had other things we had to do back here. But what they, if you know, they ask in advance, and some do and some don't. Some will wait till the last minute and just say, hey, by the way, is there anyone Cherokee?
Checks came in a little last minute as far as
Right.
at least one of my schools, maybe two of my schools.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, and you know, we'll if they'll let us know, and maybe that's lack communication on our part, but I don't think so, because Taryn's really done a good job with that, and I will make an effort though. I mean, we're gonna make an effort to try to get it right this next time. I mean, of course, we're
I can
past.
talk to you about that after this, but trust me, my checks, at least a couple of them came in very late. And I don't know why. I'm not blaming anybody. They were taken care of, and thank you and your staff for you had to run one of them to a school, and I appreciate that. Does this take place at Sequoia, and do counselors get to award ValSal checks at Sequoia also?
I don't know. How do you do it, Mr. Will?
We have our council people recognize them.
As far as actually awarding the check.
Right.
And is that done in the awards assembly? Yeah, okay.
So council for Cherokee County, let's say, get to make those awards at the award ceremony?
If the school chooses to do that, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Ron? Yes, Councilman Crittenden.
Yes, sir. I didn't raise my hand a while ago, but never ceases to amaze me the work that Diane does back there. Strawberry Festival, that night, the alumni stuff, and just work. So I appreciate my neighbor back there, always working, Diane. At that alumni, really impressive guy, Jim Smay, got the award, and he mentioned your name. I don't know if you visited with him lately, but he's an engineer, something I can't even pronounce. Just like I said, very impressive. But he mentioned your name in his speech, talking about teachers who influenced him and things, and I thought you'd like to know that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And
I'll make sure he's aware of it too. So.
right, that was impressive, and a lot of hard work put in by a lot of folks. On the scarf thing? What are those called?
The Stoles.
Stoles.
You know, this goes without saying that education, that's probably our number one goal, education and keeping them healthy. But we pass out a lot of freebies here at the Cherokee Nation. Go to any of our community meetings, festivals, and I'm thankful for all the t-shirts. But I'm interested in if there's a college graduate Cherokee, I mean, mission accomplished right there, right? Why are we scrutinizing? I'm not saying you. Why are we scrutinizing $9 or let's do that? I would like to talk about. By golly, you're a Cherokee college graduate. Here you go. And that I can't make that. I can't see why we would even talk about something like that if that means that could mean just as much to them as, you know, any gift that they would get, probably more. But if you guys want to talk about that later, I'd like to kind of look at the funds and everything. But another thing is kind of what Dick was saying is now the tribal council, the Val-Sal money, is that what, do we appropriate that? Does the council appropriate that money? We do, don't we? And so, do we have the first shot? If we want to, I've missed a few. Frankie's probably had to do some of my schools, but I've missed. I don't think I did any, but I'd like to think if I wanted to.
Yes, most definitely.
That I could be handing that check out.
You bet.
And
you have the first shot.
There.
We try to communicate with Gail, through our office and Gail, and let them know when checks are going out to what districts, and so she can correspond with you all as to when, and then try to get as to when their awards days are and so forth. And so,
but I got wind of, and it don't even concern my district, but it concerns me if it might happen to me, that a council member kind of got X'd off the list of presenting it and substituted with someone else. That may be strictly hearsay, but it just seemed highly political to me, not on your part, of course. But if a council member wants to hand that check over, by golly, they can, right?
Once again, this is checks, yes. You guys, and that happens at awards assemblies.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and ask, how much money the Education Department conceivably saved or did not spend, maybe is a better term, by not giving every Val-Sal Cherokee citizen kid the Val-Sal full amount check that we've been doing ever since I've been here. And I'd like to know that number. If you could have somebody provide that to us.
Okay.
Just send it to all of us. Yeah. Send it to Gail, and she'll send it to us.
Okay.
We can't put money on our kids. I don't know where we're at, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Councilwoman Hatfield?
Oh, Gail did email us a list of the valedictorians, and if I missed this last year, if I missed it before, I apologize, but there was a list of the at-large group. I appreciate that, because even though Mary and I probably can't be there, we can definitely send letters
Okay.
and notes to them, but I appreciate you,
Right.
they were on our list.
Right.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Just two. They split it
Yes,
out.
Council Buell.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. And also on that delay, I got a call from a school in my district that they said they never got the check, so I just said, well, I won't be there to the awards assembly, so. I said, if you didn't get the check, I don't need to be there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now I had one situation with Brian. Brian told me, and that was when we had intertribal, and it was early. I mean, that was the earliest ward assembly I knew of, and said, he just asked, you know, how can we do that? And he said he's going to assembly. I said, if you don't mind, hand them a piece of paper and shake their hand and tell them check's in the mail. So anyway, that's it. We do it like that. I mean, and he had no problem with that. So.
Councilman Shambaugh?
What is the most we've had, like, most number we've had for valedictorian and salutatorian? I mean, is it like 5 or 3?
Well,
or?
we've had one school district that had 10. And I mean, and that were had CDIB cards. We had
And
one-
that's, and when you get more than 2, it's basically just split up amongst all of them equally?
Do what now?
If you have, let's say, 3, is it?
Yeah, it's split up.
Equally, or?
Yeah, it's split up equally. So, and I will tell you, the district that had that many, they are, within the next 4 years, going to award 1 val and 1 sal. But they had to go over throughout the next 4 years before they could actually put it into the system, you know.
Well, I know
It affects a bunch of kids.
I had went to Concord and presented theirs, and they were very, there were 3 of them there, and they were very happy to get what they got. They were all very pleased. It went really well, and Oaks also went very well. We appreciate you giving us that opportunity to do that. That was a neat deal.
Since you got Roy here, Roy, can you give us an update on the certification for teachers?
Before Roy gets on, Ron, back to the valedictorian, salutatorian. Occasionally, if one of the council members are not able to attend, now one of you guys will step up, right?
Yes, yeah, Rex
Done
said, they had me go over to Holbert 2 years ago.
Okay.
Be happy to, you know, so you betcha, you just let us
Okay.
know.
Well, I think that, I don't think we have it in policy, but we've always had it that when council members present the checks to valedictorian, salutatorian, and if they can't, then we'll notify Gail, and Gail will get a hold of one of you guys, and you do the presentation. You guys select somebody. Okay. What was your question?
So Roy, the question is if we have a Cherokee citizen that the only education they have is their GED, okay, and they're wanting to get certified through the State Department of Education to be a Cherokee language speaker, what is the process, or is there a process on them to be certified through the state of Oklahoma in the Cherokee language?
Right now, the only way to become a certified Cherokee language teacher through the state is if you go through the NSU program and you qualify to sit for the Cherokee subject area test, which is administered by the state. A way around that, though, is if a school can hire an adjunct person, which means, they recognize someone in the community as being a subject area expert. So what we're going to do on our side, Ron mentioned we're going to all these schools and visiting with them. We're going to help these schools identify people in their community who could potentially be a Cherokee language teacher. We're going to start a Cherokee language teacher training program for them. So we'll identify the people in the community, teach them how to teach Cherokee, and then the school will sign off on them as an adjunct instructor. The other challenge of this is funding. not every school has the funding to actually hire these people. So we're looking at a way to actually partner with the schools so we can help fund these teachers too. And Ron had mentioned Salina and Pryor. What they're doing is Emma Dorman, she is a certified Cherokee language teacher in Salina. The issue is Salina doesn't have the money to actually make her an actual certified teacher. So Pryor and Salina are going to team up and pay her salary, half and half, and we're going to chip some in to make sure she can do this so they can share her between the two schools. So this model, we want to take their model and apply it across the 14-county area and see if we can find more teachers to do this kind of situation. In the meantime, the state test needs to be reviewed. It was put in place about 10 years ago and it hasn't been reviewed since. So Ron and I went to the State Department of Education and met with the officials there and requested that we actually be allowed to review the test. So I know that an issue that comes up is it's really hard to pass, even for people that grew up speaking Cherokee. So the test itself has got a flaw with it. So we're going to actually review that test. We're going to pick a committee of 12 people, Cherokee speakers, to review it and see if we can fix the test too. So we got two things going on here to try to fix the situation.
That's interesting. That's good information. So if a Cherokee citizen, they have to go through the NSU program, graduate from that. Now, is that a bachelor's degree they have to graduate through? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, so they go through that, then they have to pass the state test, and then they'll be certified to teach the language.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I didn't know, is that our policy or is that the state's policy as far as them having to go through a language program?
That's the state's policy.
Okay.
The Cherokee Nation worked with the State Department several years ago, about 2006, 2007 or so, to develop this test.
Uh-huh.
The test itself is actually part of the state policy, not ours.
Okay.
We have an internal test, which certifies people to teach Cherokee for our community classes. So that's, we have our class in the 14-county area, except that test is not recognized by the state as a certification. It's only for us internally.
Okay.
And so we're trying to reconcile the two, too, so we can actually maybe have them take that test and still be recognized by the state, too.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that NSU's offering that program, because just because you can speak the language doesn't make you a good teacher, and the way I was reading the state bill was that a tribe could just certify a tribal citizen, whichever process they set up to go, and then they're state certified through the State Department of Oklahoma, of Education in Oklahoma. So, knowing that we have all these processes in place with NSU and the test, and I'm sure there's some teaching strategies along with that within the NSU program itself. But
yeah, we're currently the only tribe in the state that has a language subject area test on file with the state.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The other tribes are working towards that, but we currently are the only one that have that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Yes, Councilman Crittenden.
Yeah. Mr. Etheridge, if you don't mind, we've talked about this before. Would you mind getting with Chief and just updating me on the immersion ladies that met with some of us, and we come back and it's kind of in limbo right now about what maybe can be done for them? Will you ask the Chief to get us an update on kind of where we are on that thing?
Okay. All right. Is there any other questions for Mr. Etheridge or Mr. Boney on? I don't see none. Ron, good job. Roy, appreciate you coming and updating us.
All right.
All right. Next, we got Superintendent Leroy Qualls from Sequoia Schools.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello?
Good day. And if you got graduates getting ready to walk, well, congratulations to all of you in your respective districts. You've got my report there, and I'm going to highlight some things as I go. In the calendar, you can kind of see our school events that we have coming up. What's not on there is that We had state accreditation a couple of weeks ago, and both the high school and the immersion school were fully accredited with no deficiencies, so that went well. I was thinking about what you were talking about on the feathers and the stoles and things like that. One good avenue would be your parent committees in your individual schools to take it to the board, or your Indian Ed director to take to the board. Very seldom do boards turn down student or parent groups that are sincere about things like the heritage could be. It's just something I'm throwing out there. I'm not saying it would pass, but last time I mentioned a little bit about academics, and I wanted to brag on our kids as far as ACT scores. There you see, if you have my report there, last 4 years we've had someone score a 30 or higher, and 30 is a good benchmark. That's a fantastic score. This year we had 3 students score that. So in the last 3 previous years we had 3 students. This year alone we had 3 students score 30 or higher. And one of those 3 is a junior, and will be taking it again, next school year. And we've already had, just a tidbit there, we've already had 2 sophomores score 29. That's fantastic. I just can't. I'm so proud of what they've accomplished there. We also had a student win the Star Watch Creative Writing Essay Contest, and it wasn't 855 in her division, but there were 855 participants overall. National Honor Society induction for new students. We got 33 that'll be inducted tomorrow. And also we've got an awards assembly in grades 9 through 12 on Thursday. And the senior awards assembly will be the day of graduation, which will be Friday morning. And typically there's where scholarships and things are given out and mentioned. All schools do it differently. Graduation, we've got 98 outstanding seniors, and I'm truly mean outstanding. They're multi-talented academically. Just a tad over $2.5 million in scholarships for those 98 students for this year. It's quite remarkable. Our drama, we talked about the arts a while ago, have been top-notch the last 2 years. They went to the state competition the last 2 years. They had performances on the 26th and 29th of Into the Woods. Quite a talented group, very talented, as well as our band, and that's mentioned on the second page there. I'll let you know how the trip to Kansas City went. They received a superior mark in all the categories. Got number 1s across the board. Did fantastic. Softball, our girls finished state semifinalists again. That's 9 years in a row for them to make the tournament. Basketball, we had an academic all-stater, Reese Heron. And also boys basketball, Adam Sain and Bobby Cade were Oklahoma Coaches Association All-Star by class in Class 3A. Bobby Cade made the Indian All-State game, which we played this summer. And our track and field, a little bit about that. Our boys 4x800 relay team was finished as state runner-up. Did a great job. Our college signees, when I sent this report in, we had 9. See where Brian Francis is going to run cross country with Southwestern State University. Also a cheerleader, Megan Smith, signed with Southwest Baptist University in Missouri. And then we get down to Bobby Cade. Bobby's pretty shy. We have a signing this Wednesday, and all those kids that I've mentioned there, Caitlin Morton received a scholarship offer at OCU for vocal music and drama. In band, Joshua Chafin and Lauren Grayson both have signed or are going to sign with NSU for band. Jeff Vance, Fort Scott baseball signing. And with those 5 mentioned, that bring our total to 14 that'll be participating at the next level next year, which 12 was our previous high. Like I said, multi-talented and outstanding group of seniors this year. And for that signing ceremony, we have a band concert Wednesday morning, and the signing ceremony will be just after the band finishes their concert. And that concludes my report for today.
Any questions for Mr. Leroy Qualls? Yes, Mr. Dawson?
Leroy, how many Sequoia students took the ACT this year?
Well, all of our juniors took it, and we started doing that last year, to go along with what the state is doing.
Yeah. What is Sequoia's average ACT
Average,
score?
it's a little above 20.
I noticed where the state average dipped below 20 recently. So Sequoia's right around 20.
Right.
Any other questions for Mr. Qualls?
What was the average when you first took over
This time or last time?
last time?
Last time, I was thinking it was around 14, 15, somewhere in that area. That's been a while ago.
And this last time was what, about 17?
Somewhere there's been a gradual increase, yes. I can get those for you if you'd like for me to.
And Janice Randall does an excellent job of getting that training out to the schools there. She really does.
Shelley Harris does a super job also. That's who she contracts mostly, and we've been fortunate to have her for a few years now. And it's a great program.
And I shook the hand of the lady that made us North Central accredited Saturday, Barbara Worley.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she came up from Stillwell, and we weren't even North Central accredited. I think that happened in 97
Yes, sir.
and 97. So we just went through that at Stillwell High School. So we contracted Barbara Worley to come to Sequoia, get us North Central accredited so we could have a retirement for the school and start recruiting better teachers, and it's fell into place.
The standards were good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Well, that Barbara Worley, and I know Counselor Crick, you probably had her. She'll make you walk the line, won't she? All right, thank you, Mr.
Any
Chairman.
other questions? Seeing none, Mr. Qualls, congratulations on another good school year.
Thank you. Graduation is Friday night at 6:30.
Okay, all right, thank you. Seeing there's not any other reports, old business, none, new business. Next meeting is scheduled next month. Motion to adjourn. So moved. Second.